Hello there. In this lesson, you will know about present simple. I don't have to remind you that it's crucial to know when and how to use present simple tense to succeed in IELTS. Often test takers make simple mistakes confusing present simple with other tenses or writing verbs incorrectly. Another very common mistake is to ignore this tense altogether because it's too simple. You need to use present simple when it is required. There is nothing too simple about present simple. So, we have to know when do we use the present simple verb tense on IELTS. When describing habits, providing details about things that are generally true, describing bar charts and tables when no data is provided, writing about advantages and disadvantages. Also, when you need to describe something about yourself and your life. So, as you can see, present simple is definitely cannot be ignored. Now let's look at the present simple in detail. First of all, we have to know how to form the present simple tense. In this tense, most regular verbs use the root form, except in the third person singular, which ends in S. I write, but she writes. You write, but he writes. Typically, these verbs are those that ends in O-C-H, which is ch, S-H, sh, T-H, s or z, S-S, G-H, or Z. I go, but he goes. Before we get to the regular verbs, we'll have to look at one particular verb, to be. And in present simple, it has its own way of changing. So you just have to learn it. I am, he or she is, they and all the other prepositions are. Now let's move to the ordinary verbs. And here, if we want to make a negation or to make a question, we have to add an auxiliary verb, which in this case is do. Do you like? Or I don't like. But we remember that third person singular, he or she or it, will take a slightly different auxiliary verb, which is does. He doesn't like. Does she know? That's it. The formula for making a simple present verb negative is do or does regarding the person and not and the root of the verb. For example, my sister doesn't want to share her room. She doesn't think there is enough space for both of us. To make the verb to be negative, the formula is to be in the required form and not. How to ask a question? The formula for asking a question in the simple present is do or does, the auxiliary verb, then the subject, he, she, it, Mary, mom, whatever, and the root of the verb. Now we have to know when to use present simple. First, to refer to habitual or repeated actions. For example, I scroll Instagram just about every day, or my mother never goes to the cinema. Or do you smoke? To refer to permanent states. For example, she holds a university degree in linguistics. To talk about factual information such as generally accepted truth or scientific facts, like weather is generally nice here or water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Now, to give instructions or directions, first you add the sugar to the butter, then you add 2 eggs. You go up the stairs and turn right. Next, to talk about what happens in books, plays and films. In the book, the main hero travels to New York and soon falls in love. Now I'd like to remind you which frequency adverbs we use with the present simple. Those are usually, always, frequently, generally, sometimes, rarely, often, never, normally, and every day. Now, another important thing. If the verb ends in Y, the third person changes to IES. Fly, flies, or cry, cries. But if there is a vowel before that Y, we write S at the end and nothing changes, like play, plays. Use present simple with state verbs when the meaning is not temporary. These verbs often describe a state rather than an action, and therefore do not normally have continuous tenses. Verbs that describe sentences are see, hear, smell, taste, feel, look, sound. The coffee tastes really bitter. But when something is happening now, we use can. I can't see anything. Now, verbs of possession: have, belong, possess, own. Like this camera belongs to my wife. Also verbs of perception: know, believe, understand, forget, think, remember. I think she's too young to get married. Also verbs of emotion: care, like, dislike, love, hate, mind, prefer, enjoy, adore. Do you mind if I open the window? Verbs of description as well: seem, mean, look like, contain, sound, resemble, weigh. Like you resemble my father. We also use present simple tense with adverbs such as often, always, never, rarely, usually. He's always busy. She never listens to me. You'll often use this tense on academic writing task 1. Use present simple to describe graphs, bar charts, and tables where no data is provided and the information is generally always true. In writing task 2, you'll often require present simple. For example, what are the disadvantages of studying abroad? In this case, you're using present simple to talk about the general advantages of studying abroad. Regarding the environment, tourism improves people's understanding of endangered species. However, due to tourism, many countries invest in conservation programs. Ecotourism is now very popular and a lot of tourists visit Africa, Asia, and South America. Often, a new hotel or resort destroys traditional jobs such as agriculture, fishing, and crafts. Hello there! Today we're going to speak about present continuous. The present continuous is a useful tense, but learners often find it difficult to know when to use it. And Russian speakers tend to use it quite often, even more often than they should. However, it is very important tense for writing and speaking part of the IELTS exam. Now, let's see how to form the present continuous tense. It's quite simple. You get the auxiliary verb to be and put it into the present simple. And it's simple because you know there's either am, is, or are. And you add an ing form to the main verb, and that's that. For example, he is driving at the moment. Is to be in the right form, and you add ing to drive. Driving. He's driving at the moment. That's that. Or she's making tea. Now, if we want to make it negative, to make the present continuous tense in the negative form, the only thing you have to do is add not after an auxiliary verb. That's that. They aren't playing the game this evening. I'm not kidding with you. So not simply goes after the verb to be. Now, asking a question is even more simple because you change the verb to be and the subject as usual. Are you driving? Is he swimming? Are they running today? So you just change they and are, is and she, and that's that. That's all you do. Now, when do we use present continuous? First, to describe actions happening at the exact moment of speech. I'm learning now, or I'm talking now. That's happening right now at the moment, or I am juggling. To refer to temporary situations. I'm living in London at the moment. At the moment. So there are borders to the situation. My cousin is working in a restaurant until she finds a job in her field. So she's working there at the moment, some particular moment. Now, next, the present continuous is often used with the words now, at the moment, today, this morning, afternoon, evening, whatever, currently. Next, to express irritation, anger, or envy. That is typically to highlight your emotion. Now, the next tricky moment is state verbs that you want to use when their meaning is temporary. For example, I'm thinking of buying a new car. So I'm actually trying to reach a decision. Compare. I'm thinking of buying a new car, and I think you should buy a new car. In the first sentence, you're trying to reach a decision. In the second, this is your opinion. So think is used in present simple in the second sentence. Another example, he's tasting the wine they have brought him. At the moment, that's an activity. He's trying, he's drinking that. Or the wine tastes sweet rather than sour. That's your sense, that's how you feel, and that's actually its state. So you have to differentiate between two meanings of the same verb, whether it's the state or the activity. Now, I was having a bath when the phone rang. Again, you're not possessing the bath. You're in the bath. That's your activity. So the verb to have is not here as the sense verb. The present continuous can also be used to suggest an arrangement for the future. If it's an arrangement, when we use the present continuous to talk about the future, it suggests that the people involved have arranged to do so. For example, she's meeting her boyfriend at the restaurant. So she and her boyfriend have agreed to meet there. They have an agreement. It's not just some will. It's there. That's why we use the present continuous. Or I'm flying to Japan on Friday. I've bought my tickets for that day. I already know it. It is already on my schedule. Likewise, we use the present continuous when we have already planned the proposed action before speaking. And the plan is confirmed. It's close to the previous one, actually. For example, Susan is taking her exam in May. This has already been decided and planned. They are playing football tomorrow morning. They have agreed and decided a suitable time. There's an arrangement. Now, common mistakes. Don't confuse present continuous and present simple. If an event is going to happen repeatedly as a part of a schedule and has happened in the past, we might want to use the present simple. However, if the event is likely to occur once in the future, we would use the present continuous. For example, they are having a meeting on Tuesday, and they have a meeting every Tuesday. So the first one is the planned thing in the future. They are having a meeting on Tuesday. And the second one is just the schedule that happens every Tuesday. Do not use non-continuous verbs with continuous tenses. Non-continuous verbs are usually action verbs, which you can see people doing. They are broken into three categories. 1. Abstract verbs such as to be, to want, to cost, to seem, to need, to care, etc. 2. Possession verbs like possess, own, belong, etc. 3. Emotion verbs, including like, love, hate, fear, envy. There are mixed verbs, which have two or more meanings. If one meaning falls into the above categories, it cannot be used with a continuous tense. However, if the other meaning is more like a normal verb, then it can be used in the continuous form. For example, we're having Chinese food tonight. We will eat the Chinese food. We're not possessing it. It's not in the meaning of possession. It's in the meaning of eating as an activity. Present continuous for IELTS speaking now. In the IELTS speaking part 1, you may have several opportunities to use this tense. So, if you ask about travel, friends, or family, or any other common topics, it's possible to make good use of the present continuous for speaking about the future plans as well. Now, common IELTS questions. Are you a student or do you have a job? Well, you can answer right now, I'm a student, but I'm working at a local supermarket this summer, a period of time. Or another question, what is your major? I'm studying economics at the moment, but I'm switching to accounting next month. See two different uses of the present continuous, future and the period of time. Another question, what do you usually do on weekends and weekdays? On weekends, I usually go to my friend's house and hang out. In fact, I'm going there this weekend. a prearranged future, which is described by the present continuous. Or what do you usually do with your friends? We do many things together. We play football and we go hiking into the mountains. Next week, we're going to camping at a local forest area. Again, the prearranged future is described by the present continuous. Now, present continuous for IELTS speaking, part 2. We can use the present continuous to talk about the past when we are telling a story. The other day, I'm just walking down the street when suddenly this man comes up to me and asks me to lend him some money. Well, he's carrying a big stick and he looks a bit dangerous, so I'm wondering what to do, whether to run or not to. Anyway, 2. Summarize in a book, film or play. Again, you might see it in IELTS speaking part 2. Harry Potter is the pupil at Hogwarts School. One day, when he's playing Quidditch, he sees a strange object in the sky. He wonders what is happening. Now that we have covered the forming, the usage, how it might help you in the IELTS, you have to practice it. So good luck!